Hello, this is your girl Samantha Burgos and welcome to the Feel Better Naked Radio, where together we will practice how to feel better naked via self-exploration. Here I will discuss all things body, mind, and soul. I'm going to keep it super real on fitness, plant-based eating, and holistic living. Let's get sexy on the inside and the outside. Hello. Guys, happy 2021! Happy 2021. I'm so glad that you guys are here listening and tuning in to the Feel Better Naked podcast. This is your host, Samantha. And guys, I'm stoked about this episode because I thought I would start off the year, kind of reintroducing myself for any new listeners and kind of just, telling my story and kind of just explaining what Feel Better Naked, like where it stems from. But luckily, as I mentioned in my previous episode, I got to sit with Off the Strength, an amazing crew of guys that are really into the wellness space, and I got to tell my story about how I got to feel better naked. So I just thought, why not share this episode with you guys so you guys can really get not only super entertained because these guys are hilarious, but also understand my background, how I built and why I built Feel Better Naked. And I really hope you guys enjoy it. I was, I think, in a hole. Wellness in general has been a ladder for me, in all senses of the word, because even though I do feel that I'm out the hole, it's still a step-by-step process. As time went on, I realized I kind of needed to keep climbing this ladder in the sense of approaching wellness from a mental point of view, from a soul point of view, Yeah. So I guess the whole was just seeking validation or happiness on the outside perspective, from the outside versus from the inside. So as I keep going up the ladder, I keep becoming more whole and just keep climbing the ladder.
I appreciate that.
So you came from out of the hole to being whole.
Yeah.
From out of the hole to being whole.
I didn't even connect that, but I like that.
Look at that. Full circle on them.
Honestly.
We're all very in touch with our inner goddess.
Yeah.
You have to. My divine feminine is extra.
Yeah, Tony's a strong black woman.
Yeah,
I am a strong black queen. Don't
Oftentimes, Tony is a bad bitch.
Strong black woman.
I have been. From I've been known to turn up, from time to time.
That's
but
valid.
What's good, everybody? What's good? Welcome back to yet another episode of Off the Strength, where we're giving you the inside look into all things wellness culture. I'm a trainer called Tony, and of course with me, I got some gentlemen of extraordinary league guys. Let's go around the table and introduce ourselves, please.
Your trainer, Corey, your favorite trainer's favorite trainer.
KR Jones is in the building.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all type from near and far, you are now in store for a treat because you are in tune to a Brother Jones production. Yay. When the spiritual advisor is on the ones and twos, it's going to be a nice thing to get into. Brother Jones,
What's the word?
why don't you go ahead and set the people up for the kind of excursion they're going on tonight?
Well, our listeners are in for a treat today, as we have, someone I would like to call a good friend of mine. We've been on the wellness journey together at one point. I may or may not have hired this young lady at one point.
Interesting.
And she may or may not have worked for me in a place that I may or may not be able to mention.
They shall not be named.
They shall not be named.
Until they cut the check.
Until the check is cut. But with no further ado, we have the host of the Feel Better Naked podcast. We have a New York Bronx resident, if you will. We have the lovely Samantha Burgos in the building today.
Everybody, let's make some noise for Samantha Burgos. Make some noise. What's going on?
Thank you. That was such a great intro.
Oh, wow.
Oh, thank you. I try from time to time.
He comes here to
From
play.
time to time, he does try.
Yeah, he's here to ball.
Appreciate it.
I like
every
that.
once in a while. Now, Sam, now that you're here with the illustrious Off the Strength host here, we'd like to start the podcast off one way in particular. The question that we'd like to start off with is, where were you when you fell in love with this thing we call wellness?
I would say I was in New York, and I was I think in a whole. So definitely this wellness in general has been a ladder for me in all senses of the word, because even though I do feel that I'm out the hole, it's still a step-by-step process.
Okay. I mean, you want to unpack this just a little. I mean, you came with the heavy gem here.
Oh, I
Tell us
did?
about the hole.
Yeah, right?
Well, so at that point in my life, I would say like I was really overweight. Obviously, I'm a personal trainer. Like what I do is just I help women lose weight. But after I did that for a few years and coaching other women, and just as you guys would know, as a coach, it's kind of like a repetitive process. It's almost like wash, rinse and repeat. And eventually, I realized that I only really focused on the physical aspect of wellness, and that got me out the hole in a way, because I lost weight. I got physical and I guess validation in general. But as time went on, I realized I kind of needed to keep climbing this ladder in the sense of approaching wellness from a mental point of view, from a soul point of view, Yeah. So I guess the whole was just, I would say, seeking validation or happiness on the outside perspective, from the outside versus from the inside. So as I keep going up the ladder, I keep becoming more whole and just keep climbing the ladder.
I appreciate that.
So you came from out of the hole to being whole.
Yeah.
From
Ooh.
out of the hole to being whole.
I didn't even
like
connect that,
this.
but I like that.
Look at that. Full circle on them. Yeah. Can I call you Sam?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Sam, I just want to go through that a little bit more because, as wellness professionals, we don't often talk about that darker side a little bit. So if you don't mind, can I go back and unpack a little bit more and go through a little bit of these processes before we get to the point where you're taking care of other people's wellness and you're working yourself through whatever the physical manifestation? Can you paint some color on what developmentally was taking place? Like where you grew up in New York, like where was that? You were from the Bronx the whole time? Like take me through the childhood into adolescence and then into where that adulthood passageway came from.
So I'm from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Born and
BK all day.
Yeah.
We got that bias strong all day. That's what we hold it down for.
So born and raised there, lived there for a while, then moved to Florida, my family. And in a way, I'm so grateful for that because that's where my, I guess, love for movement came from, because over there, just I guess high schools and the space, and it's just more about joining a sport or being part of some kind of club or whatever. Where I feel like in New York, it's not so much.
There's
like
room
that.
to run in Florida.
Yeah, it's about all about athletes and basketball and football and all that stuff. So,
yeah, y'all green grass is green.
Yeah, very green.
Ours is brown.
Until summertime, it gets you.
Wait, our grass is like a whole different texture in New York. It's a whole different.
It's cement.
No, that weird ass Florida grass is different.
Yeah, it's different.
I still got cuts in my leg from that Florida grass.
I'm done. But yes, I lived there for a while. I got into cheerleading, took weightlifting in high school. I just got really into that stuff. And when I moved here, so that was my freshman and sophomore year of high school. My parents hated Florida. We moved back. And then in the Bronx, like my school was literally like a little building. There was like nothing. So I started like a cheerleading club in there and like just try to find a way to stay active. Eventually got into the gym. Didn't know nothing. I used to follow. Do you guys know who the Hodge twins are on YouTube?
Go on, give me some of that fire. Wait a minute. That's the Hodge Twins logo right there. Yeah, I can see all that red, white, and blue on the side.
The brothers?
The brothers?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
Yeah,
talking
that
about.
was like my first intro to like weightlifting and like all that stuff. So I was learning off of them.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, the Blake Griffin
I know.
looking dudes? You talking about the Blake Griffin looking dudes?
Yes, those guys. So I started off with that, just kind of like figuring it out as I go. I've always been that kind of person, like very like intuitive, and I need to like fail to learn, unfortunately. But yeah, so I got to weightlifting. I dirty bulked, gained can I curse on this?
Definitely can.
Great. Shitload of weight. Got super unhealthy. Was not eating good. Then eventually with time, I was actually honestly dating someone that would put a lot of pressure on how I looked. So that kind of got to me at a certain point. I was really young. I was like 18 or so. So I was really hard on myself physically. So eventually broke up with that person, got the revenge body, whatever, lost weight.
Oh, yeah.
Got stuff together. But then realized that I was really critical of my body in that sense. I started like really just almost like developed dramatic, but almost developed like a form of body morphia in a way that I was just like, it was never enough. You know what I mean? Things like a level of stuff, again, seeking like validation and happiness and my worth from the outside perspective. And then eventually, got into that and I realized, I don't want to work for someone else. I love like what I do in my spare time is research wellness. So I'm like, I might as well just make a career out of this stuff. Then from there, I just started coaching some people. I started doing my thing. And I realized that I still wasn't like happy. You know what I mean? I was just, it wasn't like no matter what I did, I just wasn't happy, you know, and I didn't feel like whole. So I started getting into like meditation, journaling, kind of self-care, mental health, all those things. And as I've progressed into that and grew, I realized like that's where the real bag is at. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like how good you look. Yes, of course it's important, you know, and it's nice and it's healthy and all that stuff to move your body, but the real sense of happiness and wholeness and actually confidence on how you view yourself doesn't come from the external. It's more of an internal inside job.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's an important journey that you went on to get from out of that hole, so to speak, and to move into that direction. And it does go through that wholeness that Corey was alluding to right before that. Brother Corey, you want to jump in on that side?
Yeah. One thing that you said was that you were learning about your soul. What did you learn about yourself? What did you find out about your soul in that journey, in that process of climbing out of the hole?
Ooh, that's a good question. I guess I learned what actually makes me happy and kind of learned to define that definition like subjectively versus like, you know, societal or family or whatever, you know, pressures that define those things for you. Like I actually learned what makes me feel complete and at peace, you know, like happy and at peace without any stress, without any like worries. Yeah. And I learned like what peace is, you know what I mean? Like it's not, at least for me, peace is like being able to just be, you know, and not feel pressure, not feel anxious, not feel whatever. And eventually I kind of realized with time that like your emotions, you know, are a choice in a way, how I see it at least. I feel like how you feel every day is almost like an article of clothing. You can pick in a closet, you open that thing up, and you're like, okay, well, today I can be in a good mood or today I could be in a crappy mood. Like, which one do I want to pick? And that kind of like led to me learning about my soul. Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
It did.
Yeah.
In the process of finding that peace, because you said basically your peace was found by separating the outside influences and eluding that. So what did you do? What did you create, or how did you find a way to push those voices out and exist on your own?
You know, even though I did start this journey a while ago, I think the most intensive and defining time was definitely COVID during quarantine and all stuff, where we literally had nowhere to go but to be home. I live alone, so to sit by yourself in your house every single day. I quit my job like a week before COVID to pursue like personal training fully, so I was just like home. Like I was home, especially the first like 4 weeks or so, you know, before I like was like, screw this. But yeah, so I guess all those times just like being able to sit without distraction, kind of, because I'm not a TV watcher either. Like so for me it was just like hearing music and just connecting. So either like hearing music that I would never hear, but just explore myself through music, you know, also explore myself through movement. I started doing like a form of like stretching or yoga maybe, or kind of like, I don't know, goddess empowerment situation. I don't even know what it is, but I just started moving my body in ways that like felt natural and right, just connecting with myself and like kind of learning who Samantha actually is, like, you know, and just hanging out with Samantha, honestly.
That's what's up. We're all very in touch with our inner goddess.
Yeah.
You have to. My divine feminine is extra.
Yeah,
You know,
Tony's a strong black woman.
Yeah,
I am a strong black queen. Don't you get it
Oftentimes,
wrong.
Tone is a bad bitch.
Strong black woman.
I have been from I've been known to turn up, you know, from time to time.
That's
but
valid.
I do like to offer a lens of forgiveness to my inner divine queen, and it sounds like you've done the same to yourself somewhere inside there, because the comparison culture seems like it's not going to be the thing that is fulfilling inside that journey. And I do hear that coming back up there, whether it's through the rhythmic motions, whether it's through the stretching or through the music. What are some of the things that you have done that you use to navigate through this tumultuous year? Because there is a lot of people who are in that same space where they had a job, they had a profession, and they had the thing that they did that they were defined by.
Oh my God.
Not be true the next day.
Yeah.
So take me through a little bit of that process and what some of the parts that you did to put yourself together in that next direction.
I think in general, what if I could sum it up? I guess it's just like knowing the good, the bad, and the ugly of myself, honestly, and like dealing with it. Because I feel like I'm the kind of person that I'm probably too optimistic in a sense, that I'm always like in a good mood. I'm always like, I don't let things get to me. But like I definitely learned during this time that like it's okay to let things get to you and process them and just like move on. And that being more effective than actually just like keep pushing forward. You know, you should always push forward, but you should also process and be present. You know what I'm saying? So I think I just learned how to be present with my emotions. And also in general, I didn't feel that much of an identity loss during COVID from a societal sense, because I quit my job prior to it. You know, so I already had that in mind, like, oh, I'm going to reinvent, you know, my reality. I'm going to quit this and, like, you know, pursue personal training. But, well, now that I say it, it's actually, I did have a little identity crisis too, because since I did quit my job to pursue personal training, the fact that the gyms were all closed, I was like, what am I going to do now? Honestly. So that kind of sucked. And I'm a full believer of like weights, you know, and resistance training and like that kind of stuff. So to go from that to like working out at home and teaching others to work out at home, I literally felt like almost an imposter, because it's not what I do. It's not what I stand for, you know? But yeah, kind of just, I don't know, kind of just figured it's okay. Like, it's okay. It's all okay. You know?
Offer yourself forgiveness in that direction.
Yeah, I guess forgiveness, yeah.
Well, it kind of sounds like you were blocking the emotion instead of working your way through it. You decided to let yourself really work.
Yeah, I let myself cry.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Need to
That's
get a good cry
huge
out.
thing. That's
Man,
a
point. I
huge
stubbed my toe yesterday. Cried like a baby. Feels so much better. Toenails a little black though.
Yeah, don't do that.
So I want to harken back to, I guess, right before you quit your job. I'm thinking back to the time when we first met. I feel like you were working in like finance or something like that. Like, talk to me about that passion for wellness and how it, you know, grew to overcome your finance passion.
Well, you know, I don't think finance was ever a passion.
Okay.
Yeah, finance was a means to the end. You know, it was kind of like what I was naturally good at, and like I just was naturally good at it. I'm just good at math, you know? Like, it's just always been that way since middle school. So it's kind of like a means to an end. And yeah, it was just an easy way for me to get a lot of money. But I always realized that, again, I believe nothing's a mistake. So I think that me working in finance and having to like work with like small business owners all the time, I kind of learned so much of the business aspect that I applied now to myself that I'm just like, wow, like everything circles back, you know?
Flashbacks of me dancing in my living room was my first audition. That's full circle. Yeah. Everything come full circle, dawg. You just gotta wait. Full circle, like every single thing I ever did. I want the people out there in the world to hear me though. I don't do it alone. You know everything come full circle. I just so love watch it come full circle, and I can never let that bad vibes inside my circle. No.
But yeah, I just realized that I've always worked out. I've always been into educating myself when it comes to wellness, nutrition, to movement, to all that stuff. So I was like, how, you know, that whole thing, like, how can I not work? Everyone's like, oh, like, you know, once you find your passion, you won't work a single day, like that whole shebang, you know? So I was like, well, what is my passion? And, you know, kind of started, well, in a way, I think that you make up your own passion and your own purpose in life. That's just not really real. I think that you're born with a purpose. I think you choose your purpose. So naturally, since I do like to study fitness, why not make that my purpose in life? You know, it's a natural affinity. So like, why not?
I feel like you ventured into life coaching as well. Like, didn't you have a couple clients, or am I making that up?
No.
Okay.
Kyle is lying. Charlatan.
It was a minute. Like, I'm just happy to be here with Sam because, you know what I mean, I haven't kicked it with her in a very long time.
I literally haven't seen you since like, what, 2018?
It's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? But
2018.
Yeah, we've always kept a rapport, and that's why I'm happy to have you here today. I would definitely love to transition a little bit from the wellness to talk about the podcast, right?
Oh, yeah.
So talking about the Feel Better Naked podcast, right? Talk to me about the title. Talk to me about the inspiration to what that came from.
Well, that came from that whole thing, you know, like feeling better naked. I feel better naked. It's not about like the physical body, which it is, but also it's about the mental. It's about how you view yourself, your self-worth, your mental health, and just like feeling good about who you are, how you show up in the world every single day. I think that's more important than anything. You know, if you're proud of how you show up every single day and you truly love yourself for who you are, like that's more valuable than anything else. So yeah, I was like, you know, what's a name that's more than just the physical body? Because I do focus on like growing your booty and like plant-based living, but
We got to put a pinhole in that. We had a few listeners that wanted to grow their butt. We got some questions.
Okay.
But we gonna come back to that.
That's quality.
Parking lot that.
Yeah.
Quality control right
Shout
there.
out to Baby Cakes.
Yeah, we got to help them out.
But yeah, no, I figured I need to find like a name that like embodies looking good physically, but also like feeling good on the inside. And feeling good doesn't only come from the foods you eat, but also like how you feel about yourself, like how you, like I'm big on feelings, and energy and all that stuff. So it just felt right. And it was funny because like when I started my podcast at first, that was the original name. But then, to be blunt, I made up this stupid idea in my head that I can't connect the mind and the soul with like the body. It has to be like separate. I don't know why I thought this at one point. Because the thing is that, well, if I was to explain it, honestly, when it comes to Instagram, when it comes to fitness and all that stuff, it's annoying that the more you shit on people, the more action they'll take in a way. Like the more for example, I feel like if I post a pic of my body, if I post a transformational pic, I get more engagement, more people asking me stuff versus something inspirational, which is like sad but true. You know what I mean? Like end of the day, sex sells. Like let's just be blunt, So I was like, dang, like I don't know how to have two different brands that are completely different, but again, so aligned and together. So I did that. I had both for a while, like Plant-Based Booty and I Feel Bare Naked. And then actually on a jog the day before my birthday, I was like, we need to combine this. We just need to have one thing. And yeah, the whole point is just overall to help people feel better naked, like practice what it means to actually connect with yourself, but like on the inside, but not on some like silly, like, oh yeah, like I took a bubble bath, and like I have a face mask on and now I feel good, blah, blah. It's like, yo, can I sit with myself in silence and be happy? Can I do that? Because a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't even be alone on some like real. And just being able to be your own best friend, like that's what Feel Bare Naked is about.
There's a few things that come up in that direction. So I do want to unpack because I'm reminded first of the David Barton campaign. Now I'm looking at you. I don't know quite what age range is, but not to
29.
Okay. So were you around when David Barton was really moving?
Yeah.
Inside
I
the
went
city?
to his gyms.
So they had the Look Better Naked campaign, right? And that Look Better Naked campaign at the time that it launched had David Barton outpacing, and I'm going to say just for the comparison for that, and they're probably not going to make the full episode because people know how I feel about Equinox in particular, but the marketing was very powerful because it got to the heart of the matter for why everybody was doing what it was they're doing. Right. Now, the setup on that, or the premise, is one of that comparison culture, right? So it's saying that we have an affinity for this idea of aspiration and perfection. Some part of that sounds like that as you're unpacking this and as you're learning, well, you could see this compare and contrast. This might not be the thing that we should do for actual people because if we want to do healthy, none of this shit is healthy at the end of the day, right? I'm comparing, I'm looking at this person, this is better, so I need to do this, or that person, that, right? And that therein lies the conundrum from where you're talking about inside of that whole Instagram kind of paradigm, right? But to go from that and start to understand what you meant by separating the mind, the soul, and the body versus what you were doing on the plant side. Now, that's a curious question. Part of me believes that the siloing of all of these things as individual efforts is part of the reason why we have those issues on the comparison culture. Because if I separate your mind from your body and your soul, when you see something that's not in alignment with what you do, how is that going to impact you?
Right.
If your mind is here, your body's here, and your eyes are here, where does that start to move you? Where does that start to jostle you? You know?
That's how you end up in a hole.
Yeah.
You know?
So that brings about the connotations of alignment. And I just wanted to reflect that for a second. Brother Corey, you got something on that?
Well, a couple of things I would say. One, the title is interesting because when you unpack it further, when you really like force yourself to embrace the word naked, exposure, being seen, vulnerability, that's essentially what podcasting is if you do it well.
Right.
So essentially what podcasting is let me expose myself, let me open myself up, and let me give you this information, give you my heart, give you how I feel. So feeling better exposed, feeling better naked is very much in line with feeling better naked physically if you're doing it the right way.
I've never thought of that.
But also the reality is when using that word naked, it immediately stimulate sexuality, and everyone is always going to take stimulation over aspiration regardless of what their intention is.
Right.
And now I want y'all to go back and think about how y'all judged me when I said I was Winnie the Pooh in it most of the time. I'd like to just point that out. Just putting that out there for these two brothers inside here. Because, Sam, they judged me when I was trying to be naked and vulnerable inside this podcast.
Nope. We gonna slide past that.
Now,
No.
We're sliding past that.
this
No.
is truth that I was
No.
giving you. I was trying to live
just
my
so
divine
you
feminine.
understand, Sam, in case you didn't hear that particular episode, tone is often in meetings throughout the course of the
Much
day.
like this.
Okay.
Sans pants.
It's valid.
Nos pantalones. You know what I'm saying?
Scene.
You're talking to Feel Better Naked.
See,
Like,
see,
it's the
yeah,
wrong
That's what I'm
person.
saying. So y'all are on the same page.
Like, yo, we
y'all
vibing.
might have some wild meetings.
Listen,
if you look under
no.
this table,
I'm telling you right now, where's the MacBook setup?
No.
Look at how the top is represented.
there's a
I
reason
feel
why
like I'm
Matt
good.
put
For
the
the third
cameras
time.
high and not low.
No.
It made sense to me, Sam. I don't understand why they was hating, but in all honesty, yes, it does come in with a level of intimacy that has to come inside of this podcasting situation. Now that
Yeah.
I'd like to understand and get a little bit more familiar with on that side. Now, where did that love of this audio aspect of teaching and learning and like cultivating some kind of art, where'd that come from? What's that stem from? And what's some of the people that might have influenced you to jump into this, lady?
Honestly, it kind of stemmed from me, okay, saying, Sam, how are you going to grow your business? Well, everyone's doing YouTube, right? There's YouTube, blah, blah. But it's like, I didn't want that whole setup. At the moment in time, I felt like I had to do my hair, put makeup on, have lights, have all this extra mumbo jumbo, then editing, all that stuff. I was like, I need to find a way to like get my message across and not edit and just look however I look. Whenever I feel inspired, just say what I gotta say. And podcasting was it. I could be Winnie the Pooh in it out here in my podcast.
See?
Chilling.
Starting a trend.
You know?
Telling
No.
you. Tastemaker is what they call me.
Don't support him.
Tastemaker?
Tastemaker.
Nah.
Support
We're
it.
not doing that.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're here now. We here.
Winnie Poohing.
Winnie the
Winnie the
Poohing.
Poohing. That's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's not a thing. Now I want to harken back to
Harken your ass off,
the
man.
booty growth conversation, right? Solely because, you know, if we're being blunt, Sam, I've seen the before and after photos.
Oh, thank you.
You know, you put them out there. You know what I'm saying?
This was that increased engagement that she was talking about.
This was
Right.
definitely increased
Yeah.
engagement because the before and the after were so far that I had to send, Sam, I sent you a message like, nah, I can't even like this photo. 'Cause
That's so true. You just
I was like, I can't even like where you started, but I can appreciate where you ended, right?
I can't.
They are foolish. But I say that to
We
say,
are foolish.
You know,
Fam.
what was your motivation outside of, I guess, the aesthetic part of it? You know, was lifting in isolation something that attracted you, or was it
Nah, it's purely I wanted a fat butt. Like it's just that. And
Righteous.
understood?
Shout out to that.
And
I appreciate a nice booty, even on a woman or a man. Like I think it's a nice part of the body, and also in general, like I don't know. I just felt like because I guess growing up pressures of being a like Dominican woman, like we're a very ass focused culture, to be blunt, and like I didn't have any. So when I moved here from Florida, which basically I was probably like 1 out of 10 like Latina/Latino people in my entire school, like whatever, like I was kind of just being. But when I came to New York, to the Bronx at that, where it's like everyone is like Dominican or like African American or like whatever, I was like, damn, I really have no ass. Like, damn. So when I started going out and like getting older and like all that stuff, I was like, yo, I dead have no ass. So
Dead ass, you had no ass.
I dead ass
dead
had
ass,
no
B.
ass.
Nobody
No
wants flat pockets. You know what I mean?
Get
Nobody
more New
wants
York
flat
than
pockets.
that.
That's
That ass, I have no
hysterical.
ass. But yeah, so I was like, you know what? And then also the guy I was dating at the time, like he was like, yeah, like trying to like push me or help me get an ass in the most unhealthy way. But yeah, so I kind of got into that, and then yeah, it just is what it is. Now I help women do that.
Well, shout out to your growth.
Shout out to Grow,
Shout out to my girl.
the applause.
the double entendre. That's where we're coming inside that direction. Now, as Kyle has alluded that there were some people who may have had some questions that would need answering in this
Yeah.
direction. You have any tips and tricks
For booty growth?
that you would like to share with our good listenership in your perspective for them to also feel better naked as they're sitting inside this situation and to get into this growth aspect
So
that
is
we're
it
talking about?
Bare feel naked or is it booty growth?
I would say let's go
Cake bakery.
We're
then let's go
baking right
B.
now.
Yeah, let's
All
go
right.
into the B side.
I would say one, there's a few things. I think hip thrust and sumo RDLs are where it's at.
Okay.
Squats are great as well, but I just don't think they target the glutes like that. That's one. Two, people need to understand that if you're in the process of growing your glutes, like you can't be trying to like kind of also get skinnier or like lose weight. Like you need to eat a lot to grow your booty. And then also I would say that people need to just focus on their personal journey when it comes to growing their glutes, because if I compare myself to XYZ, like it's never going to be enough. You know what I mean? I gotta look at my booty like last month compared to this month and be like, oh, bet. You know what I mean? That I think is more of the real gem versus like, you know, everything else.
Appreciate that. There's also the aspect that comes along inside there where, okay, the appreciation of what you're doing for the work outside is great. And that's how we're going to, you know, make sure that everybody is refining what they need to do in terms of the gluteal maximization, right?
Maximization.
You need to get the
No, you
maximization
didn't.
of the
No, you
glutes,
didn't.
right? That's what we're trying to do.
Avoid the minimus.
You got to target the minimus. You got to target
and
the
the
minimus.
medius.
You don't want to
And the medius.
minimize the minimus.
You got to get the
You know what I'm
max.
saying?
You need to mediate.
Yeah.
You
You got to mediate the medius.
to get all of that
You
out,
guys are funny.
right? Now it's coming together.
Because you got to get the maximum maximus. You see
Off
what I'm
the
saying?
strength.
Right.
Got to put it all together, right?
Your dad jokes are a whole different level. Like,
I'm here. I told you. I warned you before the show.
it's so great. I can't.
In that direction, after you're giving out the information, now you mentioned a little bit you got to eat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me where the dance between the plant-based side comes in with these lifts and these gains out here, and you know, help me through that navigation. Were you somebody that was always plant-based, and did that play a role into how the gains in Kyle's perspective from before to after, real quick? How'd that whole thing
No,
play?
wait,
out?
don't put that on just Kyle.
Nah, that's on Kyle. That's what he said.
No, go to the photo and you too
I'm
can
not-
Roll the tape, Matt.
Did you see? Did you
pull the tape
Now
out.
I got to be honest. Like if she had a wallet in her back pocket, I would have known how much money she had. Back in the
Okay.
day.
Stop.
I've seen
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Oh my God, it's true.
You saw it, right?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw
All
it.
right, I'm not
I saw
alone.
it. That's all I'm saying. You
Is
got
that
to.
a quarter?
All I know is your wallet's Velcro.
Oh my God, guys,
This
stop.
is horrible.
Stop. Now make that motherfucker hammer sound like.
But now you got a future behind you. Now you got a future behind
It's
you.
so
So
true.
congratulations. You know,
That's horrible.
Amen. No, but legit, it's so true though. God bless. All right, but I think no. So to answer your question, just take it step by step. I've only been plant based for about 3 years and a half, and I legit just did it because I watched that documentary, What the Health, and that just sold me. I was like, bet. And I've always been into I guess just like eating more greens and all stuff and blah blah. But then once I learned how meat and stuff is made in like America, I was like, I'm good. Like I'm good. I don't need to eat this. And I was just open to it to see how I feel, and I felt fine. So I was like, you know what, why not? It's not affecting my gains. If anything, I'm definitely recovering faster, feel better. It's faster to cook. It's easier to clean. It's cheaper. Like it's a whole vibe. Like I feel good. My skin's better. Like it worked out. If I would never not eat meat again, I don't know. But when the day comes, you know.
How do you dance around that around the holidays and the good cultural dishes that I would imagine are coming across?
yeah,
'Cause-
avoiding pork in the Dominican.
Yeah,
rough.
that's what I was about to
That
say.
need,
Rough.
yeah.
They're one and the same. You know what
They
I mean?
are.
It's got to be, you know.
No, it's hard. No lie. Like if I go out uptown, like it's really slow for me to find anything that's like not animal based at 4 a.m, or even like on a regular time too. Like where I live in the Bronx, like I can't buy veggies. Like I could, but it's like steam, like frozen mix from like BJ's. Like it's some BS, you know? But yeah, it's not hard. I mean, honestly, I just bring my own dishes to my holidays. I'm like, you guys, this is like vegetables. Like try us out. Everyone seems to like it. And honestly, at this point now, like most of our holidays are pretty veggie heavy because my other cousin's vegetarian now. And yeah, I've slowly put my family on to this. So they kind of just eat vegetables too.
So are you doing like traditional vegetable dishes, or are you coming out with like eggplant chicharron and go kind of wild?
No,
like-
I'm not that innovative. I'm very basic. Salt, pepper, garlic, baby. That's it.
Okay.
Keeping it cool.
Simple. I don't have time.
Now, The question that I have that we often struggle with being fitness professionals is how have you made an impression on your family health wise? You know, like wanting to have this passion to be a fitness professional, and, you know, even for the women in your family, like maybe they want to grow their booty too, or, you know, or even just eat better or feel better naked, if you will. How has that happened, you know, for your family?
That's a good question. Honestly, yeah, I never thought of that, but I really have, I guess, impacted my family. When I say family, I think of like my immediate family, like my aunts, my cousins, and like my mom, my sister. And like, yeah, we definitely do eat healthier. My cousins, and when we all link up, we're all stretching first thing in the morning and meditating. Like, that's just what we do now. It's like a thing we do.
I see the link up. Y'all be having fun. Y'all be lit.
Yeah, we be lit.
Yeah,
we be lit
all
for
the
no
time.
reason. For no reason. But yeah, we just like, yeah, we all eat really healthy. Yeah, in general, I think I just become like that person in my family. Like my grandma just asked me for Christmas to buy her like some kind of herbs for like brain health. And I was like, damn, the pressure, like, like granny, like that's a lot. But no, but in a way, like it's just true. I have become like a person in my family that when they have questions regarding health or anything like that, I'm kind of that go-to person. In my friend group too, I guess. Yeah.
How's that make you feel?
I guess honored. They trust me enough. Yeah, because I ain't shit. But
Well, it sounds like you do.
Really, it's great.
No, it sounds like you have gone through a little bit of that dance yourself, and you've overcome some of the things that they might also be going through. And it sounds like in that matriarchal sense, you know, there's somebody who's really holding the reins, so to speak, and guiding what this health continuum is, right?
Yeah.
So if you're helping that would inform what legacy means, right? In some way, shape, or form. Like, what do you see, or what do you want to direct by means of legacy in the work that you're doing right now?
I honestly, if I could die tomorrow and know that I helped someone accept themselves for who they are full out, therefore teach that on to their kids and their partner, and just like also change, for example, like what people eat in their homes, especially minorities, like in like urban areas, like the food we eat is shit. And if I could just help one person change that generationally, like, and pass it on to their kids, like, I'll be happy. That's like the legacy I want to have, you know?
Beautiful.
So what's your next step? You've gotten the physical, you've gotten into the soul,
Yes.
you've gotten into the nutrition.
Yes.
So what's the next step? What are we doing in 2021? What are we expecting from you?
Ooh, that's a secret. No, I'm joking.
You get to tease it out to the people right now, you know?
I think, so I do have my membership that I'm working on, that's out, but I definitely want to grow that more and partner with different brands just to educate people, honestly, and just provide like, just education, just so people can know. A lot of people don't know, you know what I mean? Like, and it sounds silly, but like, I put a poll yesterday on my Instagram asking people like, why don't you meditate? And like a bunch of people were like, oh, I just don't know how to, or I just like don't know like if I'm doing it right. It's just like that overthinking. If I could find a way to like give people the courage and confidence just to try shit and fall on their face and it's okay, you know, and just know that's like part of the step, then I've done like my job. So I want to just keep pushing that. I want to eventually have an event. That'd be great, where I get different people, different kind of, I guess, brands that are part of Body, Mind, and Soul get together and give people different ways of doing that. And in general, just make merchandise and just connect people to things, you know, like, just connect people to things, to educate them, honestly.
So
I get you.
Education and expansion is your next.
Education, expansion. She's going to be the source or the conduit for furthering that wealth going forward, and a hub, it seems like, for what a modern day wellness fair would be. Is that fair, Sam?
That is fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I like that picture that you're painting inside that direction. You know, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty vista. You know, we're
I
getting
hope
a nice
so.
little view
I just want to build
inside
like a bunch of badass, beautiful, big bootied women that eat healthy
This
and
sounds like
know
a
that
party
they're shit.
that I need to be a part of.
I think
Whenever
so.
this party is happening, I want to let you know that I expect a call for
Make that
I will
reservation
call
for
you.
3.
Yeah, you know, just let me know where that's taking you
Off
in
the
that
strength.
direction. Off the strength. You know, I need to be there to make sure that I am upholding my divine
Trace.
feminine as well, like we talked about earlier in
I
this
agree.
conversation, you know. Some part of that, Sam, I'm also hearing as we're coming into that direction of what you want to do and what you're going to accomplish inside there. You know, I'm also reminded of a couple of different things that representation is mattering inside this conversation. So when you talk about people in your DMs or in the messages, however, I don't want to throw it out there that they was hitting you up in the DMs, but however they was reaching out to you and they was trying to get in contact with you, all right?
Yeah.
How often were they able to understand what the definition of meditation was simply because they didn't see themselves in those pictures that we were painting for them for what wellness could be? What would it look like if they did? Now, what does that wellness fair that you're painting that picture for have to do inside of that conduit, you know?
What a question. Okay. So I think that, at least me, speaking for myself as a Dominican woman, like I didn't grow up learning that mental health is a thing to care for. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't grow up like, for example, seeing my mom do yoga. I didn't grow up seeing my mom meditating or seeing anyone in my family doing that. If we went to a therapist even, it was like judged. Yeah, just in general, self-care is not necessarily embedded. It's more something that white people did, to be blunt, you know, like white women went to yoga, you know, like not people of color, stuff like that. So I think if I can just shift that narrative a little bit, because at the end of the day, this may sound controversial, but I think that us people of color are we have soul. Like we have soul. We have like a lot of culture and ancestry and a lot of stuff that this is what our people did anyways. You know, people did gather, people did share energy, people did move their bodies naturally in certain ways. Like it's just in our culture, embedded in us. I think if we can find a way to like reconnect to that in our own ways, in a modern way, you know, whether it's through stretching, whether it's through caring for what we eat, whether it's through knowing that it's okay to have difficult conversations at home, or even it's okay to seek help. You know what I mean? I think in general, at least what I've witnessed, there's a lot of shame around that in people of color. So I feel like if we could find a way to slowly eliminate that and let people know that it's okay, you know, to just go on the journey. You know, it's not like a destination, it's a journey. You know, it's not talked about enough, I feel like.
To go on the journey for the culture. I love the sound of that. Te amaré mi gente por siempre y para siempre.
Hey, I don't know if you saw me tap my watch to Kyle, but
Tú sabes.
if someone speaks Spanish,
Yo soy Panama.
Tone will pull the Spanish out.
That was great.
Before the hour ends, I guarantee you. Tone, hit him with it.
Listen,
Mi
fam,
gente por
I'm on
siempre.
Duolingo too. Like, you not the only one.
Y para siempre.
That's great Spanish. You got it.
Gracias.
No más from you. No
Yo
más.
soy Panama.
No más.
They like to hate.
Bad Bunny.
I see. No, I peeped the Spanish music intro. I was like, oh.
Hey, come on.
That
now.
was for you. You I feel like you didn't
Uptown Funk.
appreciate it.
Yeah, because I don't like that song, but it's fine.
It's all right. I was trying to get you
Wow.
but it was about the last night that you didn't show up, Sam. And I didn't want to have to call this out, but now we're going to bring it up. Now, if we're
sound
going
You
to
salty.
set yourself
You
up for the
sound
smoke.
salty.
He's not salty. He's well seasoned.
What was the name of that song?
Your jokes. I can't. He said
What
season.
was the name of that song? He was like, we're going to go back.
I know it's anoche, something with anoche.
Yeah, the night before the other night. And I
Yeah,
was like, night
because
before
the
the
night
other
before
night.
you wasn't here.
Wasn't here.
Stop.
We had to drink a whole bottle of Snoop wine by ourselves.
That wasn't that bad, though. Was it?
For the,
That's
for
why I
the
pulled out the
record,
little bottle of whiskey in case you ain't show up.
Wow.
being as though
I appreciate the realness, though.
being as though that you're a wellness professional, they did recommend that you do 10 push-ups, you know, for not showing up. But I was like, nah, man, we can't do it like
No,
that.
you can't.
So-
Out of pocket, so I'm not going to do it.
I
But
respect
if we
your
would have
gangster.
said 10 deadlifts, you would have been all for it. You know
I
what
got these RDLs.
Not
What's
even.
up?
So.
You know
Now
what
that
time
you
it
can't do RDLs after the whiskey.
Yeah, you know.
Right?
We're over here sipping bourbon and doing deadlifts.
Past, like, it's a Friday and you're wildin'.
Understood. I mean, so we winding down a little bit for sure. Sam, what does success look like for you? For feel better naked. For you as an individual. You know, we're winding down to the end of 2020. 2021 is here. We spoke on what you wanted, but like, what does that end goal look like for you?
Ooh. You know, I don't think I've thought about if I could like define what success is. I haven't thought that far. I'm very like a 500-degree person. I look at bigger picture things. I don't have an exact thing, but I guess if I could define what success is on a personal level, I personally want to feel better Naked than where I am now, you know, keeping lightning in a way. And then also for, I guess, my brand in general, I would just like, just to grow and help more people. If I could even like teach women how to teach this to others, that'll be great too. You know, that's so vague a little bit. It's like, you know, it could be almost anything as long as I'm helping people. That's how I see it, you know?
Yeah.
There's not one version of success.
No, it's not. But let me maybe usher that into a direction. So if you're looking at the definition between where you are and where you want to be, what's the change between those 2 points?
Well, I personally, honestly, I want to learn more so I could teach more, because I feel like as a educator and I guess influencer, I can only serve from a full cup. You know what I mean? So eventually I feel like with time, like I need to just keep filling my cup with, you know, more education and more, just besides the basic stuff like fitness and nutrition and all that stuff, but also just like, I would like to grow a bigger network of people in general that could influence me, and therefore I could influence others more, or they could influence my audience, but yeah, I guess just growing. I just want to connect more people. Maybe COVID has something to do with that. I keep.
It does. When you're starving from that connection,
right?
And you're used to being in spaces where we had it in abundance,
right?
That's really a thing that you do have a need for, a longing for sure.
Yeah.
If I could share something with you, one of the things that tends to happen with people who do what we do is that there ends up being a barrier for growth based on you feeling comfortable with the level of education you have or what you feel comfortable sharing. It's been my experience, in my opinion, I life coach a couple of people who are influencers at the like elevated level. And one of the things that you learn over time is that you can share what you just learned as long as it's authentic. If you really learn this, but even if you learned it yesterday, if you really learned and it really is useful and good information, then you can share information you learned yesterday because it's still information that somebody else didn't have.
True.
And the imposter feeling sometimes that comes in from feeling like I didn't own this for 10 years, or I haven't gotten gray hairs on this. Like I don't own this enough. The reality of it is, as long as it's true, as long as it's accurate and authentic, then it's okay to share as long as you present it that way. So as long as you're not presenting information to something, I've owned this for 20 years. If you owned it since yesterday, then just share that you owned it yesterday. I say it all the time on the air. I just learned this, so I'm sharing this with y'all.
Right.
And it's fine.
Right.
The reality of it is that you don't always have to own things forever to own things now.
I love that. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Salud.
Cheers to that.
Salud.
No, I did like that. That's very true. Yeah, you know, I think in this industry in general, like you do go through a lot of imposter syndrome because there's so much of it out there, you know, like I think having to find my voice in Feel Better Naked, like that took time, you know what I mean? Because eventually it's kind of like, what do I actually stand for? Like who am I? Because I truly see what I do as like that's literally me. Like it's dead me. Like it's like I live the way I show or I teach or everything. Like it's dead ass me. And to say the day I start eating meat, then I'll start preaching that, because that's just like, it's just my reality. You know, I'm just like very vulnerable, I guess.
Transparent.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Y'all is something else. You know that?
You know, we be potting sometimes. We be potting over
here,
here.
yo. We chefing it up with somebody else who's used to getting on these mics and pontificating, Jones.
You know what I mean?
So do you not Winnie the Pooh?
I mean, not on camera.
Put him on the
OnlyFans.
spot.
That's
I like
for his
this.
OnlyFans.
You ain't Winnie the
not.
Pooh it?
Ew.
You ain't
when
Winnie the
the
Pooh it?
environment is conducive for such.
You using all the words.
When you if you go for jonesforjones.com,
Jones is for Jones.
when
That's
you
what we're doing?
jonesandforjones.com,
Woo!
LoveJones.com.
Love
Look me
Jones.
up.
keeping up with the Joneses, you know what I mean?
When the environment is perpetually.
You digging for them words.
What? Why are you talking like you just got out of prison and you found
there's
Islam?
an invitation for said time, then it is time, but not before.
At some point, you're gonna sell me a bean pie.
He's giving
Bean
you
pie, my brother.
the fruit of Islam in Brother Jones right here. I appreciate you.
What you trying to articulate
Yeah, exactly.
and pontificate is the fact that you are trying to expand the horizons, not distort the image, but change the image from what you saw before to what you see now.
Betwixt
My brother,
them
Amen.
thighs.
This is a lot.
I don't know where that went. That just went.
So if your booty started small,
May you pray. May you go to the gods
that one day you will have a future behind you.
and uplift.
So if your booty is small, you will say, yes, I can.
Yes,
Yes,
you will.
I can.
This is why we shouldn't drink on Fridays, because this type of thing happens. And, we spoke about the backyard and the swing set in Brother Tony's words. And now we completely off the rails. Completely derailed the
Sometimes
train.
your backyard ain't got no lawn.
Come on now.
Sometimes it's just a carport.
Yay.
And then you expand it to have a whole field.
So,
back
Sam, I'm
there.
talking to you because they are just irrational at this point. My question to you is, the way that we typically wrap the show is if there was a way to arm our listeners off the strength, right, with a gem, if you will, something that they can pontificate on, if you will.
Bottled waters.
Something that they can take in and sit with for a while. What kind of information could you give them?
I think it's just one.
You do whatever
You
you
do whatever
want.
you want.
Anything
you want some more
that's
bourbon
going to
before
be
you start that?
Yeah, whatever's
Actually, sure.
There you go. Here, take that shot before you start that.
whatever's going to be uplifting, motivating, some of that go-to info that you go to in the back pocket to know how to navigate on through that day.
I think a current, because it changes all the time, a current one is if you can, you must. So if I can, just even simple, like make a better food choice that day, if I could wake up earlier, if I can make a better choice, if I could, whatever that may be in every situation, if I can, I must. Because then I wouldn't be upset with anything or have any regrets or, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. If you can, you must. That goes with the obligation to. Hold on. I'm stumbling on that one. That is the whiskey talk.
If you have the observation,
There you go. There you
observation, transition
then you
into
must
the
have the.
obligation.
There
Right.
you go.
That's where we're
Right.
coming inside there. Because if I can't do it, homies, I mean, it
go. You
can't
got to
be
work
done.
on your articulation.
I do. I was trying to throw that out there for something else. It's this little whiskey.
You got
that's
caught
out
up
here.
in the gesticulation.
The gesticulation.
Inebriation.
With the inebriation and the presentation wasn't where it was supposed to be. God damn it. I know. I see where it was going. I see where I fucked up.
But your pronunciation.
It was there. I was trying to get back in there. Hopefully, you too can take that gem and make sure you do what it do outside there. I appreciate that, Sam. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for really jumping into this full immersive kind of situation. Now, can you let the good listeners know where they can find you, how they can keep in touch with everything that you have going on inside your portfolio, and how we can support you going forward?
Oh, well, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Sammy_Burgos. So SAMI_BURGOS.
Okay, right on.
Yep.
Righteous.
All my stuff is there.
Okay, cool. How can we listen to the pod?
Oh, it's on Spotify, Apple, any major DSPs. It's on all major DSPs.
There we go. Oh man, that's going to edit so nice. It's going to sit right in the pocket. It's going to be great.
You know we got to translate what DSPs is for the regular folk.
Digital service providers. She
Yeah,
said it.
digital service providers,
She
yeah.
broke it down. She
Long
broke
as
it
they
down. We had
I
it.
thought it was digital streaming platform.
Nah, that's a, we can get it. We get it.
You
Either
learn
way,
something every new.
Either
every
way,
day.
interchangeable. We can make this happen. But I would like to say, Sam, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Please don't take us for anything other than the enlightened gentleman that we wanted to be inside here, ushering you through to tell your story and celebrate you in every way possible on that side. I appreciate you.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much for
Yo,
having
thank
me.
you for only being a week late.
Yeah, you know.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow, the salt. The
damn.
season
It was
never
just- it was
ends,
just like,
yo.
it was in there. It was in there.
You see the salt in the beer.
He's coming in there. Never on schedule, but always on time. That's how we like it. Okay, once again, it's been another fantastic episode of Off the Strength. I'm a trainer called Tony.
You're a trainer, Corey.
K.R. Jones.
Peace and much love to y'all out there. Until next time, we'll see you soon.